This is not my first rodeo, nor is it my first time looking at the all-new Toyota CHR. In fact, the last time I had a look at it, we were in sunny Ibiza. And it's Ireland, but it's not raining. Now, I've had a good bit of time with the car. That's the main difference this time. And I want to talk you through some of the things that I think are great in the new CHR, and the things that I think, really, did they do that? So let's start with the nose. It definitely looks different enough. There's enough lumps and bumps over the side of the car, over the rear of the car, different headlights. There's enough going on here to tell you, oh, that's the new CHR, isn't it? Having said that, they've been clever enough. They haven't radically designed the car. You're not going to annoy previous CHR customers, but you certainly will probably entice them into this next model. Something that has changed quite a bit since the last model, however, is the starting price. You're now going to spend over €40,000 on the entry-level CHR. But it comes very well spec'd. For example, safe exit is something that exists on the inside of the door. If a car or a pedestrian or cyclist coming up on your driver or passenger side and you're about to open the door into their path, it will flash red and warn you. It's got lots of ambient light cleverness as well, like when the car in front moves off, you get this little flash to remind you to pay attention and move. And there's lots of safety stuff as standard. Blind spot, you're getting frontal collision avoidance, it can spot things coming around the back, it can spot motorcyclists. It's a very, very safe car. So are you comparing like with like, price for price? In some ways, no, but there's still no getting away. It has been a fairly big jump. Now this is a Sol model, which is the one you'll probably want because it has half leather, it's got heated seats, it's got panoramic glass roof, it's got the larger screen, although that annoys me, I'll get to that in a second. And there is 1.8 and 2 litre, 140 and 198 brake horsepower self-charging, which people get annoyed about because it's marketing speak, but there's going to be lots of buts in this video. How it works: small battery, not a plug-in hybrid, charges itself off the petrol engine. So yes, it uses fuel, but it's still really, really efficient. Toyota claimed this car will do 4.8 litres per 100 kilometres, and guess what? It does. There is a plug-in hybrid version coming that will have a smaller boot. The boot is just about okay as it is. I did manage to fit a dog box into it during the week with still a little bit of space either side, left and right. Do have to do something with the parcel shelf if you're doing that, but I've been in more expensive, bigger cars where that is a bit more problematic. So boot, I can live with it in the CHR. I like the overall styling of it. It's definitely sharp. It's got a lot of sharp lines, whether it's here over the side, the back looks good, the wheels are nice. If you go for the really expensive versions, and we're talking 50 grand and above, you can get a bitone colour. So instead of just the roof being bitone, it comes all the way down here. Some people think it looks like you've been to Halfords with your Christmas gift cards. Other people like it. Up to you. But there's quite a lot of colours, but if you do want the bitone thing, it's going to cost you. Approach the vehicle with keyless and you can open it with pop-out handles. There is no doubt that the rear is cramped. It's tight. Depending on whether you have baby seats or actual grown-ups in the back, there's going to be times when it is a little bit of a tight squeeze, and you kind of need the glass roof because it's very dark otherwise. All right, jumping into the CHR, first thing I like is, and I'll demonstrate it with this, you have easy entry seats. So you have your programmed saved seating position depending on spec, and it just brings you there, and I like that. Can I connect to wireless? This kind of troubles me. So again, certain models upwards, you're getting an 8-inch or a 12-inch widescreen. It looks a lot better in the larger screen. You may not think that's needed, but it is nicer once you've seen it. You can't unsee it. My problem is, when I connect to CarPlay, and you do it on your phone, it's urging you to connect to, right, turn on, yeah, okay, grand. So I'm going to try and connect to CarPlay now, and hopefully this will pop up. And sometimes it does connect, sometimes it doesn't. It's not all the time, but it has given me a little bit of trickiness sometimes. So this is Toyota's own system with sat-nav and radio and all the normal stuff. My issue with CarPlay is, once you're in CarPlay, the only way you can get back out to Toyota's system, from what I can see, is using a voice command. Hey Toyota,
I didn't understand.
F
Please try
FM radio.
turning on FM.
And then it will bring you, well, it won't even fully bring you back to the screen because it just displays the radio strip here. So once you're in CarPlay or Android, you're kind of locked in there. And that's a bit annoying. I like the floating shelf here for keeping things safe, storage, drinks, wireless charging, physical buttons, nice crisp graphics for your info, the cruise control. By Toyota standards, it's easier to use in some of their systems, but still, meh. This air vent thing, now predominantly it's there to demist the windows if it gets foggy and obviously keep you warm. But the design of this big wraparound, as nice and all as it is, that's preventing this air vent from reaching that glass. That's a bit of a design flaw, I think. Now there is a little bit of an extra vent up here, but it's not really going to hit all the way back here. So I find that a bit strange, to be honest with you. How did they not think, oh, we kind of blocked the door here? I do like the safe exit thing. If there was a car coming here, it would flash red at me as I try and open the door. It works very, very well. I like it a lot. The seats are comfortable. Yes, you can get vegan leather. No, these are not. These are kind of half and half. And yes, it's quite black and dark, but it's very well put together. As I often say in Toyotas, there is not a rattle out of anything. And it's very, very comfortable to drive. And on that note, let's go for one. There's a very loud clunk when you set off on your journey from the doors. It's like dunk. And you never get used to it. And people hearing it for the first time are like, what was that? Did you hear something? What? It's just very, very loud. It's so smooth. It's so comfortable. It's on 19-inch alloy wheels, but it still hasn't affected any of the carry-on of the car. Even on some of our terrible Irish roads, it just works. Now, it's beeping at me because I'm doing 3 kilometers over the speed limit. Now I'm doing 2, and it will keep doing that. So it'll stop after a while, but then if you do it again, it will do it again. You can turn it off. You've got to go through quite a few complicated menus in order to do it, but it is possible. Not as intrusive as many other cars I've recently driven. So the only thing I can really find to give out about in terms of driver monitoring is that there's no infrared thing going on here. You can have your maps on this screen and in your driver display. I like that. As I mentioned, it is really efficient. It does what Toyota say it will do. Even on motorways, even in cold December, it's doing 6 litres per 100 kilometres. You'll kind of struggle in some ways to use petrol in this car. You know, if you take it easy, you let the battery keep recharging, then it's going to be very, very efficient. It handles well too. The steering is light, but you can throw this into corners and it obeys and just, you know, lets you have your little bit of fun, if that's all that matters. It is an ECVT gearbox, which means there's no actual gear changes, and it is a little bit moany and groany under hard acceleration, but you're not really using hard acceleration very often because there's enough torque and battery assisted power just to keep things ticking along in eco mode. And if you do that, that's how you achieve the really good fuel efficiency as well. As is more often the case these days with quieter cars, tire noise does come into play and you notice things, and it's pretty good actually. Again, we're on 19-inch, I think they're Bridgestone tires, and again, it's not really making itself known inside the cabin. It's still a pretty quiet place to be sitting in. It's got a great seating position. You've got a good view of pretty much everything. You can see both front kind of sides of the bonnet of the car as well. But from an access point of view, if you're someone who wants a slightly higher up vehicle to get in and out of, then the CHR should be able to do the job for you. After nearly a week together now, and it's a car I've got to know pretty well in 2023, between static launches in Milan, driving launches in Ibiza, and now using the car on Irish roads. There is always something about getting the car home, driving on familiar roads that you know, and it's just the steering wheel's on the right side. It's got an Irish plate on it. There's something in there that makes you just have a different way of looking at a car, albeit, you know, it hasn't really changed all that much in my mind. I think if you are a previous CHR owner, you're going to love it. For those of you that are new to CHR territory, it's a good car. I'll mention what I think are the pros and cons in my summary right now. My conclusions. I do really like the new CHR. I think it looks great. It drives pretty well. As I mentioned, it handles very well. Its shortcomings are really the rear space. That's about it. Otherwise, you can use it as a family car. Although Toyota will tell you this is more of an empty nester car, but the price in Ireland will say, no, that's like a stretch family car in terms of the price. So it's got a lot of great features. The shortcomings are just kind of my opinion. You know, the air vent thing is a bit strange, but it's not going to affect the performance of the car. But it's just the price. It has crept up quite a bit, like so many other brands, like so many other models. But as a piece of evolution from the last CHR, is it still really good? Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one. Hopefully see you in 2024, and thanks for your support.